Speaking of, Bradley's got one. 2 queens in the cutoff. Opens it up. On with the Jack-9 suited in the small blind. I'm a little rusty on tournament play, but this strikes me as a hand that you'd want to 3-bet or fold. Probably leaning towards fold. But I know things change a lot given that the ante's out there. You actually do flat the small blind a little bit more often. So this is probably in that range of hands that likes to flat versus 3-bet. Finds a jack. Disaster for Han. Backdoor diamonds. 26K out there. SPR is about 5. If Brad plays this right, he can get it in by the river pretty easily. Certainly would be looking to. Hopefully we get a clean run out and see some action.
16,000.
Goes for the slightly larger bet. About 2/3. I like it. Sizing up to get the chips in. And you got a big hand. Pretty standard stuff. I don't think Han can go anywhere. Brad's going to be doing this with a lot of hands that he finds himself here with. A lot of king-queen with some backdoors. Ace-king, backdoors. No worse jacks, really. He might bet a 5 for protection. Or maybe something like 7s. Han makes the call, no reason to raise. 6 on the turn may slow some action. Han's going to have a lot of 6s. A lot more 6s than Brad, certainly. Whenever he calls. Pre-flop and on the flop. Kind of just a standard card for Brad to check back a lot on, and he does. Pretty bricky river. Completes some straights. 8-7. Han's probably raising those at some frequency. Goes for the value. Trying to get called by 7s, 8s, 9s. Maybe pocket 10s that would play in exactly this fashion. Small bet too. I don't think there's any reason for him to bet pretty much any larger than this. Now how does Brad want to play it? I think if Brad really took a second, thought it over, he could get away with a small raise here. Nothing too big because you only get called by the best hands. Maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000.
50.
Oh my gosh, called it. Look at that. Excellent raise from Brad Owen. It's almost like this guy's a professional or something. Han gets well out of the way, snap folds.
Online poker is back in the United States with Club WPT Gold. Get the details in the description below.
But I'm sure the guys with 50 plus bigs are feeling a little better than everyone else.
One raises to 9,000. 2 folds.
Big ace for Brad. On the button.
3 folds.
Excuse me, I believe. Oh, he's on the button. Just couldn't see it in the shot. Eight, 7 offsuit in the small blind. Probably just pitching this one. But TM's got the biggest stack. So let's see if he wants to get out of line here.
5 folds.
8-7 suited probably makes its way into calling. and probably some 3-betting. Han here in the big blind. Interesting spot. Excellent squeeze opportunity. I think if he wants to 3-bet, he is just ripping it in. But does he want to jam with King 9 suited? Probably not. But it is not really a great spot to be in either way. One of the worst kings by comparison to everyone else in the hand that you'll have. One of the better kings in his range that he would just be calling with.
All in.
He does decide to go for the jam.
One folds.
I think this is definitely the play if you
3 calls. 5 folds.
are going to raise it all. And Brad didn't think too long before making the call. That's a pretty good call there from Brad. Maybe knows Han could be just a bit light here in a great spot. Needs to fade a king or a 9. And he does. Brad Owen is going to eliminate Han in 6th place. Nice little chip up for Brad. iPod's drunk again. Showing payouts from what I believe was our half milli. 2,600 entries in that. Pretty solid for a $400 buy-in. The tanks for Brendan.
8 folds.
San
Raise.
picking up kings in the big.
35,000.
Very strong line to take here. Brendan opened under the gun, even 5-handed. Still a strong line from San. How does Brendan want to play this? He's in position. Calling is probably most standard, but every now and then, a jam probably sneaks its way in.
2 calls.
Gonna see a flop, see if it's safe for his tanks.
Heads up.
He is the shortest stack at the table, and this is going to cost him some money, potentially his whole stack. San
1 check.
plays it slow. Gonna be checking a lot out of position. You check a lot out of position, mostly in single raise pots. Less so in 3-bet pots, but I'm sure aces and kings probably check the most, as they don't need to generate as many folds as something like jacks or queens. Brendan is going to defend his 10s. Try and charge hands like ace, king, ace, queen. Probably just ace, king. I'm not sure ace, queen 3-bets a lot in this scenario. San sizing up Brendan's stack. Do I get it in now? Do I just call? It's close. Both options are on the table. He does just go for the raise, trying to
100,000.
get the rest of the chips. Does not quite put Brendan all in. Puts him in a very tough spot. One of those sizings you just don't know what to do with. There's the all-in, and San's going to snap it off.
Come up, please.
Big pot.
Damn, man. Fucking Lord. Good hand, dude.
Yeah, 2 out, man.
I'm not so sure you can get away from it as Brendan. 9 high board, kings versus 10s. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. 10 and a 10 only.
Man, frustrating. Frustrating. Good hand.
GG.
Right there on the bubble. You definitely feel for him. Brendan is eliminated in 5th place on the bubble. Now everybody has locked up $13,000. Look at that smile from San. Oh my gosh.
He played good
8
too.
raises, 10K. One calls. Three calls.
I want to see the flop 4, 5, 7. I have pocket jack. The
3
same.
players.
Huge flop for Son and Brad.
3 checks. Eight checks.
Oh my goodness, what a cooler. Deuce on the turn for Brad. They are both slow playing the flop. Where's the pot, guys?
16,000.
3 bet.
Brad gonna go for the bet. In the form of 16,000 pocket fives to the muck.
$60.
Son going for the check raise. Alarm bells almost certainly going off for Brad. Brad is the only stack that can really do a lot of damage to Son. So how much incentive does Son really have to tango with Brad? Getting a little loose, getting after it? I don't know. But does he also
3 calls.
raise with maybe King Jack? I don't know if Son ever finds Ace King in this spot, so I like Brad's just call. And there's a boat for Brad! The river!
Call.
1 is all in. 3 calls. Kings and queens.
Oh my god.
All in! A snap from Brad! What a cooler!
So sick.
So sick! The 2-outer on the river. It's Brad's day, folks.
9 folds. 1 calls option.
Happy to have each and every one of you tuning in, watching a
Come
little
on.
tournament action. Brad's gonna ship its Son, snaps it off. I don't know if you play this hand too much differently. Ace-10 probably jamming a lot out of the big blind. And we are going to a run out with $250,000 in the middle. Son may be able to get some back here. Ace and a 10! Oh my gosh! Oh, that's ugly. Did it to him twice, Brad?
Okay.
The disrespect.
Wow.
30 minutes ago. It's great. Because I just have all the foresight. People saying, why is Brad the 4th short stack with a sad face? You just wait. You just wait, Mr. Kahlo. Pairs back to back for Bogdan. Jacks now in the big against TM.
Raise to 21.
Nothing to do but raise. Good sizing here as well.
All in.
Raise all.
TM running into it. Ships it in. Getting snapped by Bogdan. Stepping right into it. What a disaster. What a time to get a little out of line. Nearly a 400,000 chip pot. Bogdan is at risk here. TM needs an ace and an ace only, and it doesn't come. Bogdan going to take a huge chunk out of TM's stack. Now running on fumes. Blinds are 3K, 6K, 6K. TM now sitting about 12 bigs. Bogdan with a very nice double up.
All in.
6 goes on. 9 folds.
Call.
Guys, we're all in already. TM getting ace-10 in. Standard finds a 10. All but locking it up. Heart for the sweat for Brad. Oh, man. I was going to say, how many times?
70 or so.
Nine raises to 21.
Big hand here. Brad,
55,000.
Three raises to 55.
the Kiggities. Puts on the 3-bet. It's Bogdan. Just not where you want to be as Bogdan. Even with a hand as nice as ace-queen, like, Brad's the only player that can eliminate you. It's tough playing a big pot out of position against the chip leader. Brad is, in theory, supposed to be doing this with a lot of hands, though. Ace-queen is ahead, plenty of them. Does make the call. All fine and dandy thus far. Just top set. Top set versus the queen high flush draw. This could definitely get bloody.
$27,000.
Bet 27.
Monotone board. Brad has top set. I don't think there's a reason to go any larger than this. Almost ever. You're just never betting big on monotone boards. For the most part, maybe with some small exceptions. And when you block all of the kings, you typically bet small. Maybe this is actually an exception because you want to charge hard draws a little bit. Like, those are the only hands that you're likely going to get a continue from. So maybe this actually is one of those exceptions where you can bet a little larger. But now that the board has paired, it kind of doesn't matter what Brad does.
$52,000.
Bet 52.
Brad spreading it out across 3 streets. Just a rough spot for Bogdan. Bogdan is very live to any king. With any heart, any ace. Brad looked very surprised / confused that Bogdan calling the turn bet. Bogdan is, unbeknownst to him, very happy that he is bricked off.
I'm all in.
All in.
Brad goes for all of it. I don't know if there's anything to do for Bogdan except lay it down. But he is going to take his time and think over his options. He does have the nut-nothing, so he is ahead of virtually all the bluffs, of which there are quite a few. I think if Bogdan had the ace of hearts, he would be much more inclined to just snap it into the muck, blocking all the bluffs, or most of the bluffs, I should say, that Brad would have in this scenario. Kind of hard to imagine Brad would ever run it with like the jack of hearts in his hand. But with the ace of hearts still available, Brad's bluffing range is healthy. And ace queen is ahead of pretty much all of it. So this is not as trivial a spot as it may seem on its surface. But do you just want to pay off the boat? I don't know. They'd be pretty sick. Brad is certainly capable of making plays. Does Bogdan put on the hero cape? Pay off Brad Owen. 1 for call, 2 for fold, chat. See what you guys think. He flicks it in! He calls! Brad gets paid the maximum
Nice hand.
by ace high.
Good luck. Nice dude.
Bogdan will bust
Brad.
in third in spectacular fashion.
Nice hand.
Brad now with an absolutely dominating chip lead coming into heads up for the 5K LCS High Roller. King Queen for TM. Just puts in the call on the button.
You like 130 or so?
Maybe
140?
trying to induce Brad to jam with the intent of snapping it off.
123.
123. Plus that 8 in the middle, though.
Yeah.
Alright, so 131.
31.
Brad taking inventory, mulling over his options. All in from Brad, and a call from TM. Is this it? TM's all in
Good luck, good luck.
Nice, man.
for his tournament life. Brad just has to fade, and he will be the LCS High Roller champion. Let's go to the runouts. Very safe start for Brad. A king or a queen for TM, and it doesn't come. Brad Owen, Lodge Championship Series 2025 High Roller
Good job, good job.
champion.
Nice, nice.
He got one, guys. TM eliminated in second
time,
place
nice
for
time. Where's the trophy?
36,000.
There is. I was told there was a trophy.
There was a trophy.
Brad will take home the trophy
No trophy? You
and
sure?
$60,000.
Mike told me there was a trophy.
There's, I don't mean to be biased, but there's nobody else I wanted to win this tournament more than Brad.